Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
Historically, the Agnelli family are quite cold-blooded.
I know they are.
They're quite cold-blooded.
They are. As most Bilderberg Bilderberg group founders are.
As most lizards are.
Exactly.
But they're quite cold-blooded, and they think of things. They don't think of things, emotionally. So I think that if Agnelli saw Conte as somebody that would guarantee success and save him as well, I think he would bring him back.
Well, he would, but would Conte accept it? Like, that's the thing. I don't think. I'm not so sure. Antonio Conte does not forget people. Like, he does not forget when he's been crossed.
Okay, but let's say that he does return to Juventus
that's the thing. I think with or
without Agnelli, whoever, it doesn't matter. But let's say he does return.
No, I just want to be on the record and say that I think that the only chance Conte returns to Juve is with another president and another.
Okay, well, if he does return, would he be the right choice to get?
Of course he would.
Get Juventus back?
You'd win the Scudetto. I mean, it's easy. He'd be back in a place that he knows. He was the captain of probably one of the greatest Juve sides of all time. He's already been there as a manager. Everybody knows him. The club loves him. The fans love him. The squad is built to play a 3-5-2. He has one of the best future number nines and biggest prospects in the world in Vlahovic. He's already got a left wing back in Kostic. I mean, come on, he'd be ideal. He'd be perfect. He'd be absolutely perfect. I mean, and you'd buy maybe 2 or 3 players for him. He's got Bremer, for crying out loud, in the central defense. Are you kidding me? You don't give Antonio Conte Bremer. Like, it's just you wouldn't concede a goal ever again. What are you talking about?
It'd certainly tear up the place, and I'll tell you one thing he would do. He'd definitely get them fit, which they definitely need. I mean, they can barely run 15 minutes without.
Well, it would be bad news for J Medical, because he'd get rid of every single one of them. He'd bring an exorcist and chase them all out.
They'd have to half their staff, wouldn't they? They'd have to lay off half the staff at J Medical.
No, he'd go in there and he'd get rid of all of them. He'd bring his own fitness coaches. He'd go in and he'd probably bring Pintus back, which is amazing. I mean, it would be absolutely. He'd stabilize Juve, and he'd want to stay. And I think this time he would want to stay.
It'd be good for Vlahovic as well, that's for sure. He would certainly improve him.
I mean, Vlahovic would turn into an absolute.
But is he what Juventus need for the long term, though? I mean, we know that Juventus have been, and I said it on Monday, that there's a short termism there with their transfer policy, and that has been a huge problem. You don't get that with Conte. You get quite short termism with Conte as well. When he's the manager. So, is he stays there if he's there for 1-2 years? Are they happy to win for a year and 2, and then afterwards they're left with aging players? I don't know. We're talking hypothetically here.
I don't know. I think at this point, I don't think you can. It's like, count your chickens before they're hatched.
And also the whole thing with reheated soup. We've seen that. It rarely works when you.
Well, it depends on what soup it is. Are we talking soup at the 99p store, or are we talking a delicious onion consomme from the best restaurants in the world? I mean, it depends on what ingredients you use. As Mourinho famously said, first, at the supermarket, you have first-class eggs, second-class eggs, and third-class eggs. And the more
some would have called Allegri first-class eggs, and that.
Well, I still think he's a fantastic coach. I think there's what's not working here is a combination of several things, and he's kind of becoming the face of that. I think a lot of it is his own fault as well, but it's at the end of the day, it's. For Juve, Juve is a club where winning is the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. There's no, long term, short term. In order to do that, you need to have a sporting director that knows what the hell he's doing. And Petracchi is a name that I find really interesting being linked to Juve, because I think he's a good sporting director, and I think he knows the city, obviously being in Turin before, with Torino, and Petracchi Conte, they like each other. That we do know.
Is Petracchi good though?
I think he is. I do think he is.
John is not.
Well, I think that I put that more down to the other person that John absolutely despises and Roma fans hate as well, James Pallotta, who Joe Tacopina, our good friend Joe Tacopina, said on this show is nothing but a keyboard warrior. That's who James Pallotta is. And his entire tenure at the club was a joke at Roma. So that was more, I put that more, I think Petracchi showing who he is. I mean, that's one aspect that I wanted to bring into this about Conte returning to Juve. If Petracchi is appointed, then I'm almost comfortable to say I'm certain that Conte comes back, because their relationship, we all know how good that is. They're BFFs, for crying out loud. I mean, they love each other, and Conte would have, and Petracchi knows how Conte is, so there would be no problems for them to get along.
Working relationship. Yeah.
No. They know each other. They've been friends for 20, 30 years. I mean, it's that if Juve appoint Petracchi, then I think it's almost a shoo-in that Conte comes back. That's the way I see it anyway. I think it would be too much, because that would be such a red carpet to Conte that I think he would find it difficult to resist it. And given that he's been away now from Italy if you were to, that's the end of this, it's 1.5 years. I'm not entirely sure how it works with the Decreta Crescita, but I think maybe they can use it again for at least 1 year of his wages, which would mean that maybe he would cost less than Allegri. Gross, if you know what I mean. So, I think, look, Petracchi is the key for me. If you want to unlock the Antonio Conte door, the key is Petracchi.
Listen to the full show and all other episodes by going to patreon.com/TIFP and become a member for only $2.99 per month.